stream it or
Hello,
you...
hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Dragon's Dogma.
I guess
The
that's a
dark
no.
arisen. Alas, poor York, you knew.
So,
Horatio,
is it
a
the
man of
dragon's
infinite...
dog or the dragon's maw?
The Dragon's Dogma. A dogma is
Yeah.
a thing.
So it's the dragon's dog's mother. Got it.
No, a dogma is a
I, I,
thing.
I know. I'm being funny.
And, yeah, in case you weren't watching, Poppy basically just went, "Ooh, what's this?" and picked up a skull. Hence why I tried to go into Shakespearean. So, in...
Need to open this gate to use the lift. Long ago, when the people worshipped the old gods, the gods of nature, we cannot pass through. Seems there's a room
Yes.
in the rubble.
In.
Suspect it's why they
In what?
sends their dead to the soil.
Sorry, characters started talking
That
and stuff. I still don't know what I am doing with my D&D character. Because I've reached a point where I don't know what other classes that I can take to keep up with the build as I've been working on it. Also, I put on moisturizer just before recording because my hands are dry, and that was kind of a mistake.
we have triumphed.
Sometimes when playing D&D, I wish you could just take, like, the first level of the class multiple times. Like, I've already taken Cloistered Cleric. What if I just take just a level of Cleric so I can have 2 more domains to work with? And thus 2 more domain feats. And there's one template that I'd absolutely love to have for my character because it wind up working so awesomely.
Sorry, what did the
Except...
temple eat?
Pardon?
You said temple ate. What did the temple eat?
This lever likely opens a door.
Azura, stop. Making dumb jokes is my job. I don't have the soundboard button for the thing. So, that's my job.
Deadly laser.
What's
No.
this?
Wait, I don't have a flask. Oh my gosh, I'm carrying way too much junk. Alright, you know, take everything. You know, carry more things.
So I discovered the other day that I was I think because Axe joined in while you were not around.
How dare.
While I was playing, and he pointed out that, my game seems to be like running like fast, and I thought, oh, I just have I'm holding down the speed up button, but I realized even when I let go, no, I'm still moving fast even without the speed up button, just not as fast as when I am. Somehow I'd actually turned the speed up, like the baseline
Yes.
speed.
Yeah, that's the thing that you can do.
And that's just like, well, it's not that I knew you could do that. I didn't know that I had done that. I don't know how it happened.
Do. Anyway, in D&D, there is a template that can give your character either 2 extra arms for a +2 level adjustment, or 4 extra arms for a +3 level adjustment. Notably, however, if your character has a claw attack or a slam attack, they gain an increased number of attacks based on the extra number of limbs that they get. So, I can go from 2 claw attacks to 6, or 1 slam
Jeebus.
attack to 5.
Jeebus.
So if I were to, say, remake the character and have it just essentially be... Yeah, I could probably manage to squeeze in an extra 9 attacks per full attack action. Keeping in mind, I think I'm currently at like 12, so I'd bring up to like 21. Plus, I got a Sonic tattoo that recuperates itself every 11 days. That adds in, among other things, like an increased strength score, 4 extra tentacle attacks, which, by the way, Oberblast, that's the template, also says, it says specifically, if you have claw, slam, or tentacle attacks, you get an increased number based on the number of limbs you get. So, the, was it the foul form spell, or power, wouldn't just give me 4 tentacle attacks, it would give me 8. Or if I could find a way to make a natural tentacle attack, that's an extra +4. So that's as many as 12 extra attacks just for a 3-point level adjustment.
That's,
I could have like 26 normally, use the power, go up to 30 attacks, graft on a tail with some of our money, 31 attacks while doing that, on a charge that pounces, with power attack feat for an extra plus 1d6 damage on every attack I make in the first round of combat. So, what was that? 36 it? Wait, 12, 24, 25, 26, 30, 31 attacks that each do, I think, at least a d6 of damage. Plus, I have like a +5 or so to strength. I think with this would be +6, so at least a +3, if not a +6, because, you know, offhand does half strength. So at the very least... So 31 attacks for a d6, so actually 2d6 plus 3, plus like 2d6 fire, plus if this is the first round and I can catch them off guard, that's an extra plus 1d6 sneak attack, plus a 2d6 sudden strike. So that is what? 1d6 for the attack, 1d6 power, sneak attack, sudden strike, fire and fire. So 31 attacks, and if any of them hit, they deal like 7d6 damage.
that's a lot of damage.
Even with a... No matter how bad my ability to, like, hit is, my bonus to hit, 1.5 of those are basically guaranteed to hit because I'm going to roll nat 20s eventually.
Huh.
Odds are very, very good. At least one of them will roll a nat 20 to hit for like 7d6 plus 3. So let's see, that'll be 3.5, which is the average for a d6, times 7. I should actually... So that'd be 21 plus 3.5 is about 24.5. Let's say 24 plus 3. So that's not... So essentially guaranteed, what, 27, maybe like 50-ish damage. But my 2-hit is okay. Because I have all sorts of bonuses, like, hey, I am charging. That's a +2 bonus. I have these wings that give buffet attacks. That's an extra +2 right there. If I happen to be flanking, which is a thing that I could just totally set myself up to do even without an ally, that's another +2 to hit. In addition to just making sneak attack work even if they know I'm there. Doesn't work for Sunstrike, though. And some party members are talking about, like, a total, like... like, rebuild of all of our characters, which could be fun. Just start off as Phil and Oberblast and hope to buy off some of that level adjustment with the experience we've been getting.
I'll take that.
Fun.
So, yeah. Oh, that's not all! Because of this level of cleric I'm taking, I also have a few extra abilities that can activate as a swift action that'll last for like a minute, including cleric chaos, which every round I roll a d6. Actually, I'm at least level 10, so that's a d8. And if it's an odd value, I think I add it to my attack rolls. If it's an even value, I add it to my AC. My AC, by the way, is so high that most of the enemies we face have to roll nat 20s just to hit me.
That's a lot.
I still remember the time that I built a level 20 character with AC so high, the Tarrasque... Okay. So, there is a suggested house rule in D&D 3.5 edition that I don't think anyone actually really uses, but they are like available to be used and be suggested for. And that is that instead of the nat 20 being an automatic hit, it acts as if you had rolled a 30. So it's like an extra +10 bonus. And instead of a nat 1 being a natural miss, it acts as if you'd rolled a -10. So 11 points lower. Which, most of the time, rolling a 30 would be a hit and rolling a -10 would be a miss. I had designed a character who, at level 20, if those rules were in effect, could never be hit by the Tarrasque and would never miss attacking the Tarrasque.
Dang.
I think the AC was, what, like in the 50s or something? Like, the only issue is that the damage output of the character, not counting for magic items, because I'd gone board and stopped before doing a full accompaniment of items, but that would not be able to do enough damage to bypass the Tarrasque's regeneration. But I mean, throw some items in, up that damage output, and then it's just a matter of time of just standing there facing a Tarrasque and killing it to death. And then, of course, using a wish spell to actually kill it. But, as I mentioned, I like doing the silly things. Like playing the Sunday game, playing Marissa. And having But so there's a spell that you can basically semi-animate a shield. So it like just floats around the user, but it floats around the user and they still get its shield bonus to AC, but they don't count as actually like wielding it for purposes of like, so a monk can take advantage of having a shield. I made a custom magic item of this with the DM's permission, made an adamantine tower shield, and since that's an object, I gave it permanent invisibility. So now Marissa has an invisible metal tower shield just floating around her, giving her +5 or +6. I think it's a +1 shield. So I think, yeah, +6 to AC. And if there's anything that I wanted to actually apply to the shield, I could. And at any time, she could just grab it and use it for cover.
I see.
This lever may open the way to Salvation's meeting place. My strength.
So, you know, like, it costs, like, a boatload of gold to do. Like, okay, fine, I want the extra AC. I could have just made the custom item and had a tower shield, but no, I wanted it to be adamantine instead of just wood or metal. And I wanted it to be invisible.
Are you all right?
I think we had talked about that, and we agreed that an invisible shield seems cool. See,
Oh yeah.
it's times like these where I do wish I had a big following, so I could just like, hey, survey time. Invisible weapon or invisible shield? Which one would be better?
Sorry, what was the other option?
Weapon. Weapon or shield?
Oh, shield for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you have, say, an invisible sword, I mean, you're making actions as if, you know, swinging a sword. And it's like, yeah, that's... I mean, it's bound to be useful in, you know, two people fighting swords. They can't keep track of where your sword is, but you also have a little bit extra trouble keeping track of your own sword as well.
My strength fails me.
But it's a shield. If you are just holding the shield like a shield, you know exactly where that thing is. It's hard to lose track of where a 20-pound shield is. I did LARPing once, and I had a little, like a buckler of a shield. It wasn't even a real shield. It was mostly made out of, like, foam. I was very much aware of exactly where that little flippin' shield was at all times. It actually wound up breaking over the course of the week. Like, the strap kind of broke off, so I had to stop using it. Yeah, it turns out there's a reason why you get penalties to attack when you have a buckler and, like, a two-handed weapon. Turns out that's actually, like, just legitimate. Having a little buckler really makes it harder to use, like, a staff. I still have that little shield. I also still have the staff. Getting into LARPing was fun. Actually, LARPing was not so fun. I think I talked about that before. Where the one weekend where I happened to go LARPing was, like, the highest difficulty weekend, like, of the year. Normally they save the Halloween weekend for the highest difficulty. And they do it as, you know, it's like, oh, it's, you know, Halloween. This is where we do our difficult scenario. Except that the one that I happened to be in was more difficult than the Halloween one by, like, orders of magnitude. Like, a heck of a lot more. So all weekend, I'm just there as, like, a level 1 character. I can do 1 normal damage. Basically everything we fought, or, you know, all of the monsters, quote-unquote, had resistance to normal damage, so I could deal 0. I think I died, like, 6 times. But since I was still within, like, my introductory period, death basically had no cost to it. So it really didn't matter. But also, even, like, the non-combat stuff, like, everyone's there with their friends, hanging out with their friends. This is just, you know, essentially just a guise for, hey, we're gonna be hanging out with our friends, and this is just a... whatever, like, we could be at a bar shooting pool. And it's like, cool, so I'm here, I'm new, I'm socially awkward. How am I supposed to... like, I tried to be friends with people, and then it's like, oh, in-jokes, in-jokes, in-jokes. Haha, let's laugh at our own memories. I'm like, uh-huh?
It's like joining a show in season 5.
Except in this case, it was much further along, like season 12 or so. Just they're like... like, yeah, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing at all. Whatsoever, but, like, I'm here. The first night, because, like, there are, like, cabins around for sleeping in. So you have to bring, like, sleeping bag and whatever. And, of course, for authenticity, you're not allowed to use, like, a phone or any technology more modern than an analog watch.
Interesting.
Yeah, if they catch you using your phone, they'll confiscate it, you know, because they want people to be in the moment and authentic and blah, blah. So I couldn't, like... I was just with this group of kind of friends, but mostly strangers. The people I kind of knew. Without contacting, you know, family or actual friends or my girlfriend at the time. All weekend long. I told everyone that I'd be out of contact for the weekend, but whatever. First night I slept in the cabin, just like me and like one guy there, whatever. Nothing happened. Second night, zombies or rights or whatever kept attacking, so I just kind of wound up falling asleep in a chair in like the dining hall.
Sight of women excites it.
Oof.
So I think I did it as well on like that third night as well. Only to find out that apparently while I was sleeping in the dining hall, the like bad guys, whatever, were doing like a whole scene where they would go to every cabin one at a time and essentially kill everybody in the cabins one at a time.
Interesting.
Because, like, the cabins were small. It was just, like, you walk in, there's, like, 8 beds. Like, 4 sets of bunk beds. And that's it. So just go in. Stab. Hey, wake up. You're dead. Stab. Hey, wake up. You're dead. But I was just sleeping, like, down by the dining hall, so I... didn't have to worry about it.
You were one of the few survivors.
Well, I did wind up dying, like, a lot over the weekend. Regardless. And I think I had, like, 3 hit points. After you are, like, brought down to 0, you can, like... So, anyone could just, like, pick you back up again and put you back to 1. But if you want to go above 1 hit point, you have to get magical healing done. And, like, I had, like... Basically, I had, like, a healing as, like, a skill. So I could bring people from like 1 hit point to like 2 hit points. Apparently, I thought I'd be able to bring people to full. No, I could bring them from like 0 to 1, I think it was, basically. I think that's what it was. If you're at 0, you're like dying, and then someone can use the heal skill to like bring you back up to 1. But if you want to go above 1, you need magical healing. And essentially for the entire weekend, I had like 1 spell that I could use. So I heal myself, and that, since I was level 1, that spell heals 1 hit point. So I was able to heal myself up to 2, and that was it. Every time I got revived, I was told that, like, nope, I'm at 1 hit point. I have to have magical healing to go up above that. And they have, like, strict necessities on the weapons because they want to make sure people don't actually get hurt with the weapons.
I mean, that part
Obviously,
makes sense.
except for the armor, it has to be authentic. You, like, oh, you want to use leather armor? Well, it has to be leather. It cannot be, like, pleather armor. Or any other, like, you know, leather substitute. It has to be authentic, like, dead animal leather.
Wonder what's inside.
It sounds
And the
like they
whole-
maybe have had a weird obsession with the cosplay aspect then.
Yeah. And
But I mean, even then, I'm sorry, that still seems excessive.
so, like, I had some, like, leather boots, but since we couldn't figure out if they were leather or fake leather, those weren't allowed to be counted as armor, I think.
What's this?
So they're like, oh, is that really leather? I'm not so sure. It's like, I don't know, I think it's leather. It's like, no, it's too, like, slippery. I think that's fake leather. So no, that's not gonna count. It's like,
Yeah, that's no.
for anyone being concerned about me buying leather, I bought it at, like, a secondhand store. I love those boots, by the way. $20 for a set of boots that lasted me like 2 years. Then the zipper broke, and apparently nobody in town can fix zippers on leather or pleather or whatever boots.
Huh.
Yeah, like, looked up the price to get, like, leather boots, and it's like $200 for, like, a pair of boots. And it's like, yeah, that would give me, like, 2 points of armor. That's not much armor for $200.
Yeah, no.
And there's like a thing, like the person, man, whatever thing of like, because the armor covers like different chunks of your body, and you get points based off of the area covered and the material covering it. So it's like leather, studded leather, chainmail, plate mail, essentially. There might have been more. I might be simplifying. And it's like, oh, from like the knees to the feet, and I think it has to cover like at more than half, so like at least 60%, I think they said. But you could have like gaps and still count as fully armored. So I could have boots that almost go up to my knees, that covers like the feet area, and then a skirt that almost goes to my knees. If I get like a leather skirt or a studded leather skirt, studded leather boots, that would probably be like 6 or so armor right there. If I could get some, like the forearms were one part, so if I could get like bracers, like archery bracers with leather or studded leather, I think that's like 1 point each or something. So like I could have like a surprising quite amount of armor without actually having to use to like wear metal or have anything covering my torso. Like just covering the limbs and like a hat. Or, you know, like a leather hood, whatever. But speaking of, they must be really into the cosplay aspect. They had a bunch of different, like, races and stuff. And there's, like, humans and human variants. I played one that was, like, essentially based off of the Romani people. And that was, I think, actually my first foray into using makeup was to, like, you know, because I think they include, like, oh, you know, an overabundant use of makeup. So I was trying to, you know, get into that to be in character. It did not work because makeup basically doesn't work on my skin. That's a whole other conversation.
Maybe some kind of vampire?
I don't know what it is, but, like, I've never had someone who actually knows how to do makeup actually apply makeup to me, but someone working at a store that sells makeup had actually told me that makeup wouldn't work on me. And it's like, it's her job to try to sell this stuff, and she told me, like, that my skin is so, was it fine or fair, that I'd have to use a lot of makeup to actually make it, like, show through or whatever. I don't know, maybe she's just trying to sell a lot of makeup. Anyway, but there were some races that were, I think they were, like, cat people. So people would get, like, these, I want to call them makeup daubers. I think, like, makeup sponges, whatever. And basically cover all of their exposed skin, like, orange or white or, like, calico. You know, cat colors. And, like, every inch of the exposed skin was essentially cat colors to look like a cat person. They drew on, like, whiskers and stuff. It was nice. It was nice. It was interesting. However, among the races were also elves and dark elves. So there were some people who would apply black makeup, all covering all of their skin. And, like, someone had told me, oh no, this isn't blackface because they're covering all of their skin and not just the face. It still kind of made me uncomfortable to see. I don't know if that's, like, a thing that is actually, like, uncomfortable, or if that's just a me thing, and I'm just reading too much into it. Because, like, I didn't have any problem with people, you know, turning their skin, like, white or orange or, like, spotted, whatever. But I feel like white people using a lot of, like, black body paint, I feel like that's just a topic just to not touch.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, no. You don't do that.
And after the fact, I had heard a rather distressing, upsetting, sad story about a previous LARP, not the one that I had attended, but a past one, where someone new had joined in and they wanted to play as an elf, so they, you know, got, like, their accessories to, like, you know, pointed ears, stuff, whatnot, got their armor, got their weapon, made their character sheet, signed up and played in, and, you know, got in and, you know, went to talk to the people. It's like, oh, hello, fellow adventurers, I'm new to the land of yore. And people are just treating them so rudely. Like, out of character, people were fine. In character, though, people were just, it's like, oh, why don't you go back to where you come from? It's like, oh, what, you think you can be friends with the likes of us? Oh, I know you're up to something. And, you know, person really had like a bad taste for it after people were so rude to them about it. Do you want to take a wild flipping guess as to why people were so rude to them?
Why?
Because he was black. They thought that he was playing a dark elf, which are, in the lore of their LARPing world, all supposed to be jerks. And, like, apparently that's the thing with dark elves. Dark elves are all jerks, so all non-dark elves are jerks to dark elves. And that's just a thing in their setting. So they thought that this guy who was just playing an elf was actually playing a dark elf, and they reacted like that, when actually, no, the guy was just black and playing an elf.
Ooh. It's
Now,
it's weird to think because it's just like it's supposed to be in-universe racism,
but
but it's real-life racism, but it's just like why? It's hard to justify having racism be acceptable. Sure, it's lore accurate if it were actually accurate. And that's the problem. Well, that's one of many problems there, but yeah.
I don't know if this part is 100% true, because it's been a while and my memory is, always pretty bad. But I don't think that there was a single black person there when I went there to LARP. I think every single person there was white. I know that there were at least a lot of white people. There might or might not have even been a single black person there.
Take care not to step on any stray bones. These are dark times brewing. Dark indeed.
Come to join our flock, Arisen.
Oh, I was wondering how I was supposed to get down.
This is the answer, dear Arisen! Unto all things, death and chaos!
Oh no, occultists, it better not start spawning skeletons. Okay, random thought for a game mechanic. Whenever cutscenes are playing, you can hit like the X button or whatever. X button, action button, escape button, whatever. And you jump in right where the cutscene is. So instead of just skipping the cutscene and getting to like the end of it, you skip the cutscene and jump in at that spot of the cutscene. So for like this cutscene, zombies get summoned and people start being attacked. You could actually just jump in and save the people. Of course,
Yeah,
this could...
I definitely hate it when, games force, well, basically forced incompetency.
Quite a sight that was. Though I suppose it's the stuff of every day to you, Arisen.
That always sucks.
I thank you to join me for a moment.
Oh no, these people are getting attacked. Oh no, whatever will I do? Let's wait until they're all dead. And then we'll go in and do something. Do-do-do-do-do. Oh gosh, you're walking along like a corridor, you can totally see like a tripwire there.
To be sure, but at least he's talkative.
You stop well before reaching it to walk slowly, aiming to like jump over the thing. And no, cutscene, your character must run through the tripwire.
Ugh.
Just the same, it'd be trouble if we let him go free, now that he's seen the two of us together.
Wait! You promised me!
What's worse? Being forced incompetent in a cutscene, or in a cutscene you are suddenly more competent than you're allowed to be, like, in actual gameplay. Like, as in the character is, like, more capable, more badass. Has an ability you can't actually actively use.
Oh shoot. We actually have a choice here. So,
There's naught can stay the dragon's fire. What say we await perdition together?
wait, this isn't the cultist that just killed everybody. This is just some random guy.
It's your choice to make.
Furnish the coin.
Is this just some random... Yeah, Elysian. And this is...
It's a test of your resolve. Know that we shall follow, whatever you decide.
Okay. I thought this was the cultist guy who just killed a bunch of people, and I was all like, what? I'm not gonna spare him. No, this is just some random guy. Alright, other door. So... I still remember a cutscene in...
Rather too kind, aren't you, friend? Sparing his life will win you no thanks, least of all from him. Aye, he'll be around to stay your tongue presently.
Yes?
I'd hoped you might assist me
Aw.
further.
Didn't matter. Mason killed me. Anyway, was it Saints Row 2?
I'll not have your
During a cutscene, like, a car of...
partnership ends
Was it...
It may be for the best. Knowing such a man would have
Oh, people are talking in this game, and I'm pausing to listen to them. A car full of, like, rival gang members drives up and stops, and then, like, one of your members, I think Johnny Gat, basically just, like, breaks the window and shoots them down, which is basically a thing that you just do over the course of playing the game. But somehow it being in a cutscene just made it feel much more, like, evil. Like, these weren't just, like, hapless civilians. Like, these were gang members who would gladly try to kill you as well.
Stray from the roads and we'll soon find monsters arisen.
The road splits here. Let's
But just, like, a different sort of
destination.
helplessness. So I guess, yeah, your character...
Seems we're well downstream.
But
Sort of
when your character can do stuff in a cutscene they can't do in gameplay, it's weird. When your character does something that you wouldn't have the character do, it's generally bad. Like the famous, was it Final Duel of Dark Cloud? Yeah, you know, the duels mechanic. We basically just do a series of QTEs,
I'll serve as bait.
like a musicless rhythm game, in order to battle mini-bosses. Interesting mechanic. If you do it properly, you get a little reward. The final of such event. I still remember every single button press to make for the final duel of Dark Cloud. Okay, are you ready? You taking notes? Okay, it's X, 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 X,
Serve as bait.
X,
Tail.
X.
I'm sorry, I lost track. How many was that?
I believe it's 7. Like the other duels have you, it's like, oh, like X, square, triangle, left, up, right, triangle, circle, circle, R1. No, this one is just like a series of like platforms that are like falling and you have to reach the airship. So it's just... You just have to keep hitting X to jump from platform to platform. And it's a duel. Oh, wait, no, I can actually use arrows. Did I ever tell you the story of the funniest event that's ever happened in D&D history?
Seems we're well downstream. Perhaps aught of interest is washed up.
Tell me a story, Claire.
Take that.
So, I was running a group of people who are new to D&D, and I was rather new to it as well. Not as new as them, so I was DMing it. I think the party was level 2. We had a bard who had Cure Light Wounds on his spell list, a druid who, you know, had access to Cure Light Wounds, and for some reason prepared a few. And we had a cleric who could, you know, spontaneously cast Cure Light Wounds. The party had, you know, had some combat encounters, but the players had found out about the possibilities of, like, traps. Where are the beasties?
The road splits here. To be doubly sure of which
And so they were like, oh yeah, maybe we should throw some, like, traps at us for us to, like, go through instead of just monsters all the time. Monsters and social encounters. So I said, like, okay, I'll come up with something. So... Wait, I'm sorry, you failed the ambush quest? What? How did, was it? We lived. That can't be much of a fail. So...
You failed to get ambushed.
down on our foes from atop the wall.
So, as the party is walking along the road, they find an abandoned... And I always get the terminology wrong, like, essentially a covered wagon. And they find that there's no easy way to get into it except from the back. Like, it's just a covered wagon. They could break it if they wanted to, but the easiest way to get in is from the back. So they send someone in to, you know, open up the back. And so the trap that I designed was an automatically firing crossbow. It can fire once per round. I think I had it set to like initiative 10 or initiative 0, whatever, but essentially, yeah. It can fire once per round. It's just a flat d20 roll, and I think a crossbow is like a d6 for damage. But, you know, the party has like ACs of like, you know, 12, 15-ish, some, you know. So this crossbow should only hit them less than half the time, realistically speaking. This crossbow hit them every single time. It never even once rolled a miss. Ever. It was supposed to miss more than half the time. It never missed even a single time. I think it might have even crit at least once. So, 3 hours later of trying different shenanigans to try to get into this covered wagon to get past the crossbow and actually loot it, because they were determined to get in. It took them 3 hours. They used up all of their cure light wounds they had between them, and everyone was down to like 1 or 2 hit points each. A crossbow attacking at a +0 almost TPK'd the party. Who are, again, level 2. But, again, it was attacking at +0 and never missed even a single time. I'm pretty sure. Like... So, I decided as the DM, like, okay, you know what? I am going to roll up, like, some magical item for the party to have. I was just going to use... Because in the DMG, there's rules for loot. So you can roll up random loot based off of, like, the scenario difficulty. And if you're just a scenario difficulty of, like, 1 or 2, there's really good odds that there's no magical item included. So, but I said, you know what, I'm just going to roll up some minor magical item for them to have, and so they can take it. They deserve it at this point. So, you know, I roll something up, I look through the books, and I just start laughing. And the party is really concerned at this point. Like, why is the DM laughing so much? And I'm just there, sitting there, laughing. And I managed to get out. I was like, okay, does anyone have read magic? Oh, I think, like, the cleric had it prepared. Okay, cool. I write down on a post-it note, what they had gotten. I pass it to the cleric. He starts laughing, uncontrollably as well. Passes it to the person next to him, the druid. He starts laughing uncontrollably. Finally passes it to the last player, the bard. And he starts laughing uncontrollably as well. I think we're all just laughing there for like 5 minutes. Do you want to guess what magical item I'd build up for the party to get? I didn't choose this item. This was chosen by the dice. This was rolled up. Of all the magic items in the DMG, I'd build up a scroll of protection from arrows.
Okay.
The dice decided, hey, you know what your reward for almost being TPK'd by a crossbow should be? Something that would keep you from being TPK'd by a crossbow.
I mean, it's fitting.
So this is the capital. It is vast.
It's fitting, and it was so memorable that I think somewhere along the line of 3 months later, because the people I was playing D&D with, they were also all co-workers of mine. I was at work with one of them, and it's like, hey, what? Protection from arrows. Screw you! That was the exchange between the two of us. Just like, hey, protection from arrows. It's like that was just like a thing with the group for as long as it had lasted. Just, and I hope that wherever those three are, they still remember the protection from arrows.
Claire. You and your protection from arrows.
Yeah. I also remember another time, these three same people, a new magic set was coming out, or had recently come out, and the closest LGS was having a two-headed giant draft. Not draft, I think. No, two-headed giant sealed event.
If you aim to gather materials,
Beg pardon, Arisen. I'm sure this is a small matter, but I was at my post before the castle not long ago. Even more curious. When I told him I knew not, have you some enemy, Arisen? His eyes were... I beg you.
Looks like we have 6, 7, 8 enemies. But Nameless Terror, beware of ambush.
We cannot lower our guard for a second.
Right, so yeah, Magic Set was coming out. Cons of Tarkir, Dragons of Tarkir, whatever. We're doing a sealed event of it. It was Two-Headed Giant. I had asked them all if they wanted to go with me, and they all said that they had other plans. So I went by myself, hoping that I'd, find someone there who also doesn't have a partner and we'd be able to match up together. Yeah, all three of them were there, with another friend of theirs. Their other plans were that the four of them were going to go and be pairs, so none of them could go with me because they were already going with each other. And it's like, I feel like I should be hurt by that, but I'd only, heard about it, the day before, and asked them, the day before. So if they had already had plans before then, they should have just said, oh, we're already going, but we, have, partners to play with. Whatever, it was like, oh no, we already have plans. Which I guess you could see as them saying, oh, we already have plans to go there with someone, so we can't go with you. So it could just be a weird communication thing. I don't know. And, yeah, they wrote... And for Two-Headed Giant, you make team names. So they named themselves These Guys and Those Guys. When they got paired up for round 1, everybody cheered. These guys versus those guys. I did manage to find someone to pair up with who had agreed to be my partner. On the condition that I pay for the cards and I get all of the cards and the pricing, but if we open up one specific dollar rare, that he gets it because he's looking for one for a deck. We wound up opening one, and I let him have it. And then I kept the rest of the cards. So, during one of the rounds, we're paired up against, I think it was those guys. And, they have us dead on board. They have enough, power of creatures on the board. If they just attack, we are dead. We are dead to rights, dead. I have nothing in my hand that could possibly save us here. I can't, put out enough creatures to save us or anything. Two-headed giant, though, I look at my partner's hand, and I see the answer. And I point at the card, and I glance over my partner, and I just kind of whisper to him, "Alright, as soon as they try to attack, you play this, we got this. We got it." So, you know, we had a plan ready. We passed the turn, we're ready to go. You know. But, of course, it's a small table. Those guys heard what we were saying. So, I think one of them was, like, one of my coworkers. The other guy was, like, just their friend. It's like, my coworker's just like, "Oh, yeah? Yeah? I see through your little plan. I'm gonna cast this spell." And I went into, like, "Do it, John!" Like, I'm guessing my partner's name was John. I don't remember. But I just literally just turned to him, smile on my face, like, "Do it, John!" He sinks in all of his mana, casts a counter spell. It's a, like, counter target spell and deal X damage to the controller of that spell. I think he was able to pay in, like, 6 mana to it, and they had, like, 6 life. If they had just attacked, we would have died. I had to bait my coworker into casting a spell so we could counter it and kill them. And it worked. And I'm just glad that, like, this random stranger that I partnered with knew exactly what I was going with. Because, like, he plays Magic, he can read. I pointed out, like, yeah, as soon as they attack, you cast this, we good. If he had just been all like, "But this doesn't do anything to attacks," we would have been hooped.
Yep.
But he got it. He's like, "Oh, yeah." It's like, I go for the misdirect, and he's just 100% on board with it. So, as soon as they attack, you play this, we win. Oh, yeah. Just, John! That was like, it was the most Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, "Ha! You've activated my trap card!" The moment, like, probably of my life. It was so glorious. I should have actually just said, "You activated my trap card!" By my no, you activated his trap card!
What will it be today?
Do 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 do. There you go, putting away all sorts of heavy things. Oh my gosh, that's just.
What will it be today?
Yeah, no, I think. Yeah, I think keep this on. Alright. So we could keep you in this set of nun vestments, but the set of salvation robes has higher stats, even though...
Yes, Dark Nun.
What will it be today?
Alright.
What will it be today?
Alright, Dusted West staff. Nope. Alright.
What will it be today? Have your pick. Come again soon.
Oh god. About time to end this episode. One more quick little story. It always annoys me when I'm trying to, like, play some Commander and someone just spends multiple... Someone spends, like, multiple minutes trying to set up a deal. It's like, okay, I'll do this for you, but in exchange, you know, you don't attack me, you don't move my things, you don't win the game, you don't blah, blah, you give me your firstborn child, blah, blah, blah. And... it's like, I still remember playing a Commander game. Like, I looked at my board, I looked at an opponent's empty field, looked back at my board, looked at another opponent's full field, looked up at the second opponent, looked at their board, looked at my board, looked at the empty board, looked back up at the second opponent, and I saw them look down at their board, look down at my board, look down at their own board, look down at the empty board, back at their own board, look back up at me, and just give, like, the slightest nod. And that was all we needed to do to completely make a deal that we would both full attack on the person with the empty board. We didn't exchange even a single word. It's like, we did all this looking and stuff. Full swing at the empty board. Person with the empty board has their turn, blah, blah, blah. Opponent 2's turn. Full swing at the empty board. We didn't have to exchange words or nothing. We just went like, okay, listen. We could try fighting each other and losing a bunch of creatures. Or we could just both swing at the empty board. And it's like... I don't know, sometimes it feels like I have some form of, like, telepathy. Like, I don't even want to know how many times that there's been where, like, my microphone's been muted, and I've still managed to carry on a conversation with someone. Like, my microphone is muted, so you don't know when it happens. But if you ever watch the Sinarukana Let's Play series, or I think the one that we did before that, it happened a lot there as well, there are a number of times where I think we're having a proper two-way conversation, and then, like, multiple minutes into this conversation, they're just like, Claire, are you there? Because I was muted the entire time, but we were talking back and forth.
Yeah, we've had that happen.
We've had that happen. It's just the weirdest thing. But we've had that happen once or twice. Like, I had it happen with that guy, I don't know, a dozen times at least. It was almost like an every other day occurrence. So probably more than a dozen times. Anyway, this has been, believe it or not, this has been an episode of Dragon's Dogma. Where I've just been talking about everything else other than Dragon's Dogma as much as possible. I mean, fantasy stuff. Everything is fantasy. Living a normal life, that's a sheer fantasy, is it not? I'm not okay.